Hey, week 6, baby. Woohoo! What? I'm such a happy sports fan. I'm a happy Tigers fan. I'm a happy Lions fan. I could be much happier. I haven't been doing vlogs on the Tigers because I've been busy going to the playoff game. So if you see it, I just do like a montage of me going to the game. I haven't been able to had a chance to go to a Lions game this year. I've been planning on it, but talking about the Lions today, I mean, it's time to give out some game balls. I mean, I have so much to say about the Lions. Now, we lost to Green Bay last week, and we're going into hostile territory in Cleveland. 73,000 fans just going crazy for the Cleveland Browns. I mean, they have loyal fans there. They have loyal fans online. El Pressiter being one of them. And unfortunately, their main quarterback got hurt and tore ACL. So I was expecting going into this game it was going to be a low-scoring game because both the defenses were really strong. And, Kelvin Johnson was questionable coming back. And so, but that wasn't the story of this game. And Brandon Weeden came, he's not a good quarterback. It seems like to me, they know that he's not their number one quarterback, so he goes in there not really caring what he does. So I think that's why they had such a great half in the first half. The fact that he didn't have that much pressure on him. He was like, well, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And I think that whole game plan by North Turner, like letting him play the way he wanted, and it threw Detroit off. And Detroit came in there, knowing that they didn't have their number one quarterback. And I think they came in there and underestimated the Cleveland Browns in the first half. And North Turner kept the Detroit Lions off balance. And the Lions, they sputtered after Benjamin did that end around for 45 yards. I mean, it totally threw the Lions off their game. And, that's just the way it was. I mean, they were not focused. And Cleveland had some momentum going into the second half. But the fact is that, this is a game about adjustments. And the Detroit Lions went into halftime, and they knew that, they had Kelvin Johnson, and they know they have Reggie Bush, and they just started, they started spreading. I mean, we had a lot of drop passes. They started spreading out the ball between the play action and the pass. It started opening up lanes for Reggie Bush. He started breaking big gains on the Cleveland Browns, and they opened up the shorter passes. But the emergence of Big Joe Fauria. Now, if you don't know this guy, I'm going to leave his link in the description below. I need to get a Joe Fauria jersey. Now, this is an amazing story. This guy, now we all know, if you're not drafted or sign a letter of intent or go to college on a ride, it's very hard to make the team. And he was a starter at UCLA. This guy is about 6'8", and he's got hands of gold. And he does not miss nothing. I mean, he is such a huge mismatch. And the fact that we have Calvin Johnson on the other side now with Reggie Bush, we're about to become a nightmare. I mean, if Stafford does not sail the ball, and Stafford can develop a lot faster mentally, like Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, and some of these other top-notch quarterbacks, I mean, he is almost on that precipice of breaking through. And if he can get through that, we are talking, the Lions are going to be a big problem for everybody. For the simple fact is that we're developing Fauria. I'm going to call him the Furian. I mean, from Riddick, he is the Furian. I mean, he's unstoppable. We're talking about a 6'8" mismatch. He doesn't line up as a tight end. This guy moves like a wide receiver. And he is amazing. 3 touchdowns. Game ball to him. I want to give a huge game ball out to Pettigrew. Now, he missed a block on the young dude, that was number 51 for the Browns. But he did not drop any passes, and he was clutch in third down. Now, this is the maturation of Stafford getting the rhythm with Fauria because he's 6'8" and he's really lanky. So it's kind of like fools you the way he runs. And this guy takes huge strides, and he's like, he does not drop nothing. Nobody can stop him when they hit him. He's going to come down with the ball. He can jump ball anybody. He's unstoppable in the red zone. You cannot stop Joe Fauria. You cannot stop Joe Fauria in the red zone. He's 6'8" with hands. He's Calvin Johnson at 6'8". I mean, he's 23. Now listen, the only thing that can stop Big Joe Fauria is Joe Fauria himself. And that's because he's 23. And he's still a child, immature. He's got growing up to do. You know, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying he needs to grow up and understand that, man, he's professional now, and it's time to get down and get busy and take everything that comes at you when you have the cameras on you and be respectful and professional, because that's what you are now. And if you're going to clown around, people are going to know that it can get to you. So don't let that happen to you, Big Joe Fauria. You're here now. You're taking over that spot. I think they're going to move him out to the other receiver that we're missing. And we're talking about Calvin Johnson on this side and Joe Fauria and Brandon Pettigrew. Oh my goodness, with Reggie Bush and Broyles coming out of the slot. I mean, we're talking unbelievable. You can't stop that. I mean, you're going to have to get through the offensive line to get to Stafford to make him make bad decisions. That's the only way that you're going to be able to stop it. And the fact that we have Braun, his buddy too, the 6'6" wide receiver, I call him like he's the mini white Megatron. He's not there, but he caught this one pass, was amazing today. So big ups to him, big ups to our defensive line, for figuring out and adjusting in the second half and started to stunt. We couldn't even get to Brandon Weeden. So he's terrible holding the ball for 12 seconds. And so finally we started crossing in the second half, and we got to him a couple times, and I think that's once we shook him, that was it. So huge ups to the Detroit Lions for adjusting. Huge ups for the maturation. Every week the Detroit Lions are having a maturation, whether it be without Reggie Bush, playing without Reggie Bush, playing without Calvin Johnson, playing without Burleson, and not to forget Burleson's going to be coming back. So, Stafford is growing with these receivers. If they could stay healthy and he gets their timing down, and man, this is going to be amazing. I just think Stafford needs to lead his team and be a little bit more mature and professional in growing up. I know these guys are all young. They're still in their 20s, and they want to, they're on the big time. They got the money, and they never had that type of money in their hands. So this is the part that once we get over that part and they know this is a professional job and this is where they're at and this is what they got to handle, I think the Lions are going to be an amazing team. If you look at the Lions' schedule, we have the Cincinnati Bengals. Next, we have the Dallas Cowboys. Cincinnati, Dallas Cowboys at home, and then we go to Cleveland, and then Philadelphia. I think our schedule is one of the toughest schedules in the NFL. So if we can get through our schedule 10-6, and we wind up in the playoffs, I thought earlier this week we were one and done playoff team. But now that we got Joe Fauria in there that doesn't drop nothing, and he's 6'8", and he's a huge mismatch in the red zone, I can't say that anymore. Because how are you going to defend him and defend Calvin Johnson the other side with Reggie Bush out the backfield? You can't. You can't stop that. Unless you have some kind of stunting-ass defensive line that is getting off the ball amazingly. I don't understand. There's no other way to look at it. So next week, the Lions get to come home. They face the Cincinnati Bengals, who are 4-2. They're the AFC North leaders. So we're going to see, this is a big game for us. 2 4-2 teams. I mean, your 4-2 is 4-2. There ain't no other way around it. You don't get there by mistake. I mean, it's a team effort. So big, huge game balls to Big Joe Fauria. Big game balls to Pettigrew for not dropping any passes. Big game ball to the defensive line and the offensive line for holding on. Not a big game ball to a lot of drop passes to the receivers who drop passes. And, I mean, I can't really give a game ball to special teams, but nothing really happened. So good coverage on that. So we're going to see next week. We're going to be at home. Hopefully I'll get to go to the game. Until next time, it's your boy Fist. Peace. I'm out. follow Fauria below.